2 years ago, in the quiet town of Maybrook, something happened that no one could ever explain, and it all began when a teacher named Justine walked into her classroom one morning and found it completely empty except for one student named Alex Lilly. While the night before, at exactly 2:17 a.m., all of her other 17 students had mysteriously walked out of their homes and vanished into the darkness with their arms stretched out. They left behind no signs of an abductor or any struggle, even though security cameras clearly recorded the kids leaving on their own. This confused the police and terrified the town. Despite questioning Alex and Justine multiple times, neither of them could provide answers. The school was closed for a month while police searched the area with no success. When it was finally time to reopen, the entire community gathered for a meeting where Principal Marcus tried to calm everyone down. But most parents lashed out at Justine, blaming her for whatever happened and claiming she did something that made the kids leave. Justine desperately tried to defend herself and insisted that she loved her students. The insults kept pouring in until the detective had to escort her out of the building for her safety. Afterward, Justine, drowning in guilt and sadness, went to the store to buy liquor since she had been drinking a lot after the tragedy. She suddenly got a call from an anonymous number with a threatening voice on the other end. She immediately hung up and tried to brush it off. Outside, she was stopped by a local junkie named James who asked her for change, but she ignored him and walked away. Later at home, she heard her doorbell ring and was too scared to answer. She checked through the peephole and saw no one. Then she heard another knock that pushed her to finally step outside, where she discovered her car vandalized with the word which painted across it. Though she tried to scrub it off the next morning, it wouldn't come off. She had no choice but to drive to school with the graffiti still visible. Marcus put her on a leave of absence and told her she needed to take care of her mental health. He pointed out that Alex had already been moved into another class and seemed to be doing fine. When Justine said she wanted to talk to him, Marcus firmly forbade it. He accused her of crossing professional boundaries in the past, like hugging a crying child or giving a student a ride home after missing the bus. This left Justine frustrated and in tears as she returned to her car and had a breakdown. Afterward, she went to the police station to file a report about the threats and vandalism. There she ran into her ex-boyfriend Paul, and the encounter was awkward. Later that night, they met at a bar, where Paul shared that he had separated from his wife Donna and expressed concern for Justine. She insisted she could take care of herself. After drinks and conversation, they ended up spending the night together at her house. The next morning, she drove him home while complaining about how the cops weren't doing enough to solve the case. Later that day, she waited at the school bus stop to follow Alex home. She saw his house with all the windows covered by newspapers, making her suspicious. She sneaked into the backyard and peeked through a small gap, where she was shocked to see Alex's parents sitting completely still on the couch. They didn't react when she tripped and made noise. When she told Marcus about this, he scolded her for stalking Alex, making her feel even more isolated. Things got worse when she was publicly humiliated at the grocery store by Donna, Paul's wife. Donna poured alcohol on her and called her a liar for sleeping with Paul, forcing the clerk to drag Donna away. That night, Justine dreamed she was back in her classroom where all the children had their faces on the desks. Alex looked up wearing clown makeup and gave her a chilling smile. She woke up screaming after seeing a creepy red-haired woman on her ceiling, only for the woman to vanish in an instant. The next day, Justine tried again to speak to Alex, asking if he was okay, but he quickly brushed her off and ran to his house. He yelled at her not to follow. She desperately knocked and rang the bell with no answer. Later, she fell asleep in her car outside his home and someone cut a lock of her hair without her noticing. Meanwhile, another parent named Archer, who had lost his son in the disappearances, was falling into deep depression. He spent nights watching security footage on repeat, making mistakes at work, and begging the police for updates. Captain Loach explained there were no new leads. Archer often blamed Justine, even vandalizing her car at one point. His depression became so bad he started sleeping in his son's bed. There he had terrifying dreams of chasing his son into the woods, only to be haunted by visions of the red-haired woman and a strange number, 217, appearing above his house. In the morning, convinced the dreams meant something, he drew lines on a map tracing the direction each missing child had run. He realized all the lines pointed to the same place, near Alex's house. Before he could act, he ran into Justine at a gas station just as Marcus appeared running with blood on his face and his arms stretched out like the children before. Marcus tackled Justine and tried to choke her until Archer intervened. The two men fought violently while Justine barely escaped. Marcus's behavior proved he too had fallen under the same strange control as the kids. A few days earlier, Paul had his own troubles after catching James breaking into a house. Paul handcuffed him and accidentally pricked himself on a dirty needle while searching his pockets. This enraged him enough to beat James before realizing his dashcam had recorded everything. He was forced to let James go to avoid consequences. Later, James stumbled upon the Lilly house. He sneaked inside after noticing the uncollected mail and covered windows. He shockingly found Alex's parents sitting lifeless on the couch with scars on their faces. He later discovered all the missing children standing silently in the basement, terrifying him into fleeing. Before he could report, Paul confronted him again, forcing James to run into the woods. woods. There he encountered the terrifying red-haired woman. Not long after, Paul tracked him down and forced James to reveal the location of the children. This led Paul to the Lily house, where he entered in a trance and hours later emerged growling like an animal before dragging James inside too. Earlier, Marcus himself had fallen victim after Alex's Aunt Gladys, the red-haired woman, visited him at his home pretending to check on Alex's welfare. She performed a ritual with hair and blood that put him under her spell. This caused him to murder his own husband Terry in a horrific frenzy of black vomit and violence before she sent him on his mission to kill Justine. At the gas station, he almost succeeded before getting run over and killed by a passing driver. Archer survived and began to see that Justine was not guilty after all. He realized everything pointed to Alex's house. The truth came out through flashbacks of Alex's life before the disappearances. His parents welcomed his sickly Aunt Gladys into their home. Alex realized too late that she was using dark rituals to control his parents and then him. She forced him to collect personal items from his classmates. She used them in a ritual to lure all the kids to the house at night, putting them under her control as well. While Alex struggled to feed his parents and classmates under her orders, he grew increasingly terrified. The night everything spiraled out of control, Justine and Archer showed up outside. Paul, already under Gladys's control, tried to kill Justine. This led to a violent confrontation where Justine fought back and managed to shoot Paul and James. Meanwhile, Alex upstairs finally broke one of Gladys's ritual branches using Justine's hair. This freed the children and turned them against Gladys. They chased her across the neighborhood in a terrifying scene where kids smashed windows and leapt over fences to hunt her down. They finally tackled her and ripped her apart, breaking the curse and freeing everyone. Alex's parents and Archer were released from a spell. The missing kids returned home, though traumatized and speechless. Alex eventually moved in with a kinder aunt while his parents were institutionalized. The town of Maybrook tried to heal from the nightmare that began with 17 children walking out of their homes on one chilling night at 2:17 a.m. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.